Destiny 2 fans were outraged last week to find content suddenly locked behind DLC. You had to pay to play something that was literally freely available to you just a day before. Not only that, but Bungie added a massively overpowered gun that turned the entire PvP multiplayer into a laser light show.
After the release of Destiny 2's Curse of Osiris DLC last week, players without the new expansion found themselves suddenly unable to access the Prestige Raid and Nightfall activities, both of which were available to everyone before the DLC landed. This meant players could no longer complete the base game's trophy lists to get their hands on the Legend of Osiris exotic shotgun. Well, in a new blog post this week, Bungie explains why they took the decision to do this and also why they were wrong. Quote, "In Destiny 1, as your character grew more powerful throughout each expansion, some of our best content, like the Vault of Glass, was left behind and lost its relevance for some of the players. We wanted a better solution for Destiny 2 where all of our endgame activities could stay relevant as each expansion causes your Guardian to grow more and more powerful. Their solution was to raise the difficulty, or in other words, level cap, for prestige activities in the game, but that meant you needed the DLC to level up your character enough. That and the top tier PvP activities like Trials of the Nine and Iron Banner would also require the Curse of Osiris DLC as maps and rewards change throughout each game season."
Fans clearly weren't happy with the approach that Bungie took though, and acknowledging the backlash, Bungie said, quote, "We've heard from the community that both of these plans aren't working. Throughout the lifetime of the Destiny franchise," which is 2 games, lads, let's calm down, "Trials has always required that players owned the latest expansion. However, for Destiny 2, Trials of the Nine launched as part of the main game, so it's not right for us to remove access to it. To make matters worse, our team overlooked the fact that both of these mistakes disabled trophies and achievements for Destiny 2. This was an unacceptable lapse on our part, and we can understand the frustration it has created." So yeah, cast your minds back to all the way to last week when a new DLC landed for Destiny 2, and then players who had been playing these top level activities, endgame activities, Prestige, Nightfall, Prestige Raid, and like top level multiplayer as well, the the Trials of the Nine, those were suddenly locked behind the DLC, whereas just the week before, days before, you could play those activities with just the main game, but now you suddenly needed the DLC to play them. Obviously, that pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, it seems to be like an MMO subscription model, but in a game that's not an MMO and you should just buy it as a £40, $60 game. The fact that it came out on PC just like a month and a half ago means that players didn't really have much time to play the base game. The fact that it was half a season for them before Season 2 came along and locked them out is really unfair. It was a delayed launch and then they're expected to level up, get everything prepared, make a decision whether they want to buy DLC just some weeks after the first game came out. Really bad maintenance of the PC community. So Bungie have now rolled back last week's changes to make all the base game content accessible once again. The Prestige Raid is dropping back down to power level 300, so you no longer need Curse of Osiris to access it, its trophies, or to finish the Legend of Osiris exotic quest. In addition, Trials, Nightfall Strikes, and Iron Banner will be open to anyone, unless of course rounds are hosted on a DLC map for that week.
But there's also the little matter of the Prometheus Lens, an overpowered exotic weapon that fired a constant beam of energy that caused more and more AoE damage over time. That gun was so powerful that literally every single player we encountered in PvP was using it over the weekend just gone. And so were we, because it's really powerful and it was shite, it was boring. Bungie's temporary solution is, according to a tweet, to make it way too weak. Quote, "As laser tag weekend comes to a close, we're making good on our promise to address the fact that Prometheus Lens is way too powerful. Sure, it's fun, but it breaks the crucible for anyone who wants to use a different weapon. Given the short window we had to make an emergency fix, it will be adjusted to be way too weak. In January, this new exotic will receive a proper play-tested design pass."
When I say like whilst it was fun, it wasn't fun.
It was not. It really did make all your other weapons redundant because you could fire at one person, and while that's happening, you're damaging both of his teammates if they're standing close to him. So it was really overpowered.
The fact that they've used their sort of time frame here as an excuse, given the short amount of time we had before the complaints started rolling in, means we've had to make an emergency fix. How have you missed play testing? How has your team overlooked stuff like trophies being kicked out? It's like you're literally just going forward without looking back at all on any game content. There's your PC community, things like that. You're just like, nah, f it, we've got expansion 2 coming out in the next quarter. We gotta do this, we gotta do that, we gotta do that. Slow the down.
That's where I see like Activision behind them with whip, like, come on, Bungie, do it, and then you do it like.
We're painting quite a picture at this point.
Exactly, this is quite beautiful. Minor tweaks and alterations and things like that really capture the imagination of the community because you spend time with this game. You come back to it every week. You keep checking in. They notice these kind of minor changes, and a new weapon that completely single-handedly ruins the PvP experience is a problem. And then the other side, obviously, if you give people a limited kind of buffet of activities to do at the end game, and then suddenly you take some of those things away unless they buy another expansion or DLC, you've got to be careful. It's a tightrope kind of thing that you've got to walk with any game like Destiny at all. So yeah, it's good that they've rolled it back so quickly, but it shouldn't really happen in the first place. It's a games as a service, I suppose, isn't it? So that's the thing. It's going to be changing all the time, for the worse sometimes,
yes.
And then
for the better. Now this is the last point really. Not only should Bungie listen to us because it's pissing off its players, but Bungie have rolled out this patch today, which is full of loads of cool features that they've been talking about for a while.
Yeah.
Are we reporting on it? No. Is anyone else? No. But they've put out a lot of good changes, allegedly, to the game today. And so
they sound good on paper anyway. They sound positive,
But so did the Prometheus Lens, right?
Well, I guess so.
That's the thing. So what I'm saying is Bungie are just shooting himself in the foot by this as well, because all of the negative press they're getting, which seems to be snowballing at such a high rate, is really masking any positive, if at all, changes they're making to the game for free and stopping them looking like the good guys at all.
Right, so more changes to Destiny 2. Anyone playing this game, what do you think of all this? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and please do subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every day. You can check out that video right there, right now if you want, and the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.